All right, Shalom. I want to give all praises, glory, and honor to Yahweh, Bahashim, Yahweh Shai, Bahashim, Rakakadash. Double honors to the apostles and elders of Great Millstone who rule well. Peace, blessings, and salutations to you, sincere Akim out there pushing the truth across the four corners of earth. All right, and yeah, man, the brother just did this video. I'm not sure which Israelite group put this information up, but he did a video, edifying on basically how Jake is adding to the scriptures. All right, go subscribe to this brother out of L.A. And I just wanted to provide biblical proof, just to add on what the brother was saying on how, just in case anybody was confused, how Alexander the Great was not an Israelite. All right, and the scriptures actually prove that and give evidence of that. All right, just to read it, it says, Alexander the Third of Macedon, commonly known as Alexander the Great, was a king of the ancient Greek kingdom of Macedon. Okay, he was from Macedonia. It said a member of the Argead dynasty. He was born in Pila city in ancient Greece in 356 BC. He was an Israelite, right, which that should be, he was an Israelite. All right, but nevertheless, let's get right to it. Let's go straight to the scriptures. All right, this ain't gonna be long. Just a couple of quick cuts. All right, started First Maccabees 1, where it actually mentions him. We know, like the brother mentioned too, we know Alexander is he's that he-goat, all right, from Daniel, all right, that he-goat that takes down that ram, all right, which the ram represents the Persian Empire. Okay, then the he-goat represents the Greeks. Right? The Greeks come right after the Persians. The Greeks, of course, take down the Persians. And I believe Alexander rules for about 12 years, and then he dies, and his kingdom splits up to his generals, right? Which it was like 5 people in the mix, and then 4. And you have good videos on that. Just look up GMS Alexander and his generals, GMS Alexander. And brothers have done, good edification on that. But to get to Alexander, First Maccabees 1:1, that happened after that Alexander, son of Philip, the Macedonian, who came out of the land of Chittim, had smitten Darius, the king of the Persians and Medes, that he reigned in his stead, the first over Greece, right? So he smote Darius. And made many wars and won many strongholds and slew the kings of the earth, right? And went through the ends of the earth and took spoils of many nations, insomuch that the earth was quiet before him, whereupon he was exalted and his heart was lifted up. And he gathered a mighty strong host and ruled over countries and nations and kings who became tributaries unto him. All right, exactly. All right, so remember in that part, because it says what? The earth was quiet before him. All right, and this lines up, which this actually directly proves he's an Edomite as well, but this is Zechariah 1:8. All right, this correlates with the same horse that you see in Revelations. It said, I saw by night, and behold, a man riding upon a red horse, and he stood among the myrtle trees that were in the bottom, and behind him were their red horses, speckled and white. Then said I, O my Lord, what are these? And the angel that talked with me said unto me, I will show you what these be. And the man that stood among the myrtle trees answered and said, These are they whom the Lord has sent to walk to and fro through the earth. And they answered the angel of the Lord that stood among the myrtle trees and said, We have walked to and fro through the earth, and behold, all the earth sitteth still and is at rest. Exactly. All right, and in Revelation, the man on that red horse, he has a sword in his hand. All right, and it's talking about Esau, Edom. All right, the horse is red. Esau, Edom's red. He was given that sword, that power. All right, to make the whole earth quiet before him. Just like when they came, during this era. What does it say? Who is like the beast? That's why these other nations serve them. Okay, but continuing on. jumping over to Esther, all right, because Esther was during the time of that Persian Empire, all right, Esther and Mordecai, all right before they were brought to an end, all right, the king was doing business with Haman, all right, Haman the Amalekite, or Haman the Agagite, all right, and they were trying to rise up in power then, but it wasn't time yet, all right, until the Lord ordained Alexander to come through and bring forth the Greeks, all right, showing you that everything is on the Lord's timeline. This is a matter of fact. This is additions to Esther, Salakia. This is additions to Esther in the Apocrypha 3, and let's see, verse 6. Yeah, howbeit Haman, the son of Ammedatha the Agagite, remember that name, the Agagite, who was in great honor with the king, sought to molest Mordecai, right, aka Mordecai, and his people because of the two eunuchs of the king. All right, so now we remember that name, Ammedatha the Agagite. The Agagite. Wait a minute. All right, jumping over the additions to Esther 7, which it says here placed in the Greek after chapter 8.12 of the Hebrew. Right. Additions to Esther 7, all right, jump down, mentions Haman again, verse 10. For Haman, a Macedonian, the son of Hammedatha, being indeed a stranger from the Persian blood, right? So he was here's another person. Here's Haman from Macedon, declaring from the same place, right? But it's gonna get better, right? Being indeed a stranger from the Persian blood, right? He wasn't a Persian, he was Amalekite, and far distant from our goodness, and as a stranger received of us, has so far obtained the favor that we show toward every nation, as that he was called our father and was continually honored of all the next person unto the king. Right? Haman had gained great favor with the Persians until, they learned, until basically Esther, went to the king and had him and his sons hung up. Right, but that's another story. It says what? But he, not bearing his great dignity, went about to deprive us of our kingdom and life, having by manifold and cunning deceits, damn, it sound like an Edomite already, sought of us the destruction as well of Mardukius, aka Mordecai, who saved our life and continually procured our good, as also of blameless Esther, partaker of our kingdom with their whole nation. For by these means he thought, finding us destitute of friends, because the Israelites were in captivity, to have translated the kingdom of the Persians to the Macedonians, right? So he's trying to translate the kingdom of the Persians to the Macedonians using his favor, okay, with the king of the Persians, which right now is damn, I forget his fucking name. I believe it's Ahasuerus, which, and this is a part because it wasn't just the Persians, but it was the Medes as well. First it was the Medes, and the Medes and the Persians, of course, were together. Then the Persian kings all took over. All right, this is the part with the Persian kings. All right, and like I said, man, we find damn, Salaki, I lost my place. Right, by these means he thought, finding us destitute of friends, to have translated the kingdom of the Persians to the Macedonians. All right, so even then, the Macedonian, the Edomites, all right, which Amalek is a tribe of Edom, is the head tribe. Basically, they were trying to take over, right, and then the Lord gave them rulership at an appointed time. All right, and this is Zechariah. No, that's not what I wanted. All right, so remember that name, Agag, right? He was called Haman the Agagite. All right, let's see who Agag is. 1 Samuel 15:8, 15:7. Matter of fact, this is where we were at war with them. And Saul smote the Amalekites from Havilah until thou comest to Shur, that is, over against Egypt. And he took Agag, the king of the Amalekites, alive and utterly destroyed all the people with the edge of the sword. Exactly. All right, so Agag was the king of the Amalekites. He was Amalekite. All right, point blank, period. So that, and then Alexander, going back, versus Maccabees. Yeah, he came out of the same place. He was linked to Haman. He's been linked to, the same people in the same place. He's Amalekite. Right, and that makes sense. He's the king over the Greeks, which the Greeks are Edomites. So there you go. All right, but I will say this, because when you look up Macedonia, and it's actually in Acts, right? And it's a vision, all right? Acts 16:9, and the vision appeared to Paul in the night. There stood a man of Macedonia and prayed him, saying, "Come over into Macedonia and help us." And after he had seen the vision, immediately we endeavored to go into Macedonia, assuredly gathering that the Lord hath called us to preach the gospel unto them. All right, so you would have had to, if Paul went there and preached, that means there were Israelites there, right? And just to give you a visual of what Macedonia is, right here at the top of the Aegean Sea, okay, right up here. All right, and look what we have here. Apollonia, Philippi, right? Paul wrote letters to the Philippians. Thessalonica, he wrote letters. He wrote 1st and 2nd Thessalonians, 1st and 2nd Philippians. All right, Berea, which the scriptures mentions the church of Berea, how they studied and searched out things daily. All right, and if you're Israelite in this land, this was a hot spot for Esau, Edom, and Amalek, and you already know how they get down. So, there's a lot of things they probably were privy to because they were raised up, with Esau, Edom. All right, and it's because Paul, of course, he was years AD, but shit, just was it 300, 400 years before? That's where Alexander the Great had started rulership. All right, so you had Israelites out of there too, man. That's why brothers say you got a lot of these Amalekites, right? So-called Ish people. Really, they're Israelites. You have Jacob scattered amongst all people, all over across the four corners of earth. All right, so Lord willing, this is edifying. All praises, glory, and honor to Yahweh Shem Yahweh Shai Shalom.